Welcome to Canmore, Alberta. It is first draw action at the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship here at the Canmore Golf and Curling Club. My name is Al Cameron from Curling Canada. My pleasure to be joined by color commentator Scott Moncour for this first draw action between a pair of familiar teams. It is Quebec's Jean-Michel Menard taking on Northwest Territories' Jamie Cooey. And Scott, this is a great matchup with a couple of very, very proven teams.
Absolutely. We were talking before we came on air that these are going to be two of the favorites at the end of the week, and I think we're going to see a lot of them.
So it is Team Northwest Territories with Last Rock here in this first end, and we'll run down the lineups for both teams. The Team Northwest Territories from the Yellowknife Curling Club, it is skip Jamie Cooey, third vice skip Margot Fleming, second Cole Parsons, and lead Megan Kohler.
Okay.
For Team Quebec, they're from the Etchemin and Descollins Curling Club in Quebec. It is skip Jean-Michel Menard, of course, the 2006 Tim Hortons Brier champion. His vice skip is Marie-France LaRouche, and a veteran of numerous Scotties Tournament of Hearts. Second, Ian Below, and the lead, Annie LeMay.
Pretty good.
And we should tell you that we are a little delayed today, about 25 minutes delayed. There was some ice plant problems here at the Canmore Golf and Curling Club this morning, but the ice crew, headed by Matt Yo and his team, did a superb job getting us into playing shape for this first draw of the 2021 Canadian Mixed Championship. And Scott, I know as a resident of Alberta here in southern Alberta, I know this whole community is very excited to bring this event to town.
They are, absolutely. It's going to be a great event for the Canmore Golf and Curling Club, and it's on the heels of the Qualico Mixed Doubles Classic that they had here as well. So bringing some really great events to town, and it's drumming up a lot of excitement.
So rocks in play already for the Northwest Territories.
Yep. All right.
Annie LeMay trying to get something back, but that's going to over-curl. And we should say the ice is in terrific shape. You were tracking some times at the during the practices, Matt?
Yeah.
Or Scott? Talking to Matt Yo.
It looks like it's going to be, right now it's a little bit faster than 15 seconds hog to hog to draw the tee line, and about 5.5, almost 6 feet of curl for the draw the button.
Cole Parsons now, the second for Team Northwest Territories.
All there.
Looks like it's going to be a pretty clean end here. First rock's in behind the tee line, and it looks like Jamie's pretty pleased just to go up and down the sheet here in the first.
We're still in. Coming down. Good. Ça tient moins. C'est normal.
So this is Ian Below. Probably the least familiar player on that Quebec team. There's a lot of experience, as we mentioned, with Marie-France LaRouche and Annie LeMay and Jean-Michel Menard. But Ian Below and Jean-Michel Menard did play together at the 1996 Canadian Junior Championship in Edmonton. And in fact, that was the first time that Jean-Michel Menard and Jamie Cooey faced each other head-to-head.
And Al, I'm not sure if you know who came out on top on that.
4-2 win for Jean-Michel, and that win actually kept Team Northwest Territories out of the playoffs at those juniors.
So nose hit on that hit and roll that Quebec tried, which left the guard out front, and Jamie's going to take advantage, come right around it. He's sitting 2 in the rings now. So I'm going to try the run back again here.
Yep. Whoa. Yes, yes.
Just misses the run back, but rolls the shooter out of the way. I think Jamie's going to look to put that back.
All right.
And it is Team Quebec with hammer in this first end. But it is Team Territories with the chance to dictate things, and they'd love to get a force out of this first end, Scott.
They absolutely would, and the way it's setting up, they might even be looking for more than a force. They're going to have this center guard up, 2 in the rings, and they're going to make it difficult on Jean-Michel right out of the gate here.
This is Margot Fleming. She was playing with Team Kerry Galusha at the Home Hardware pre-trials that ended last weekend in Liverpool, Nova Scotia. So she, like me, had to make the cross-country trip to get here to Canmore. But Margot actually is a replacement on this team. Kerry Galusha is Jamie's twin sister, as everyone knows, and was supposed to play. But she's got some back problems, as has been well chronicled. And now she elected to give the mixed a pass, and Margot Fleming is playing. And this is a good team, Scott. I mean, Jamie has won a silver at this event in the past. He's won a bronze at this event in the past, and lead Megan Kohler was on both of those teams, as a matter of fact. So
yeah, I think the Cooey rink is absolutely a threat to be in the playoffs and potentially win the title here at the end of the week. But tough first matchup here against Jean-Michel and Team Quebec.
Probably going to be pretty similar.
Nice shot by Marie-France there to get the shot rock, and she rolled out. Might have liked to stay on the wing there behind the corner, but rolled out, so job done. Center guard's still there, so Northwest Territories gonna come around. A lot of room by the guard here, but there is a lot of finish if the weight's right on draws on this ice.
yeah, it's finishing nicely. These are the club's rocks. They're Canada Curling Stone rocks for all those granite files out there. We know there's a few of them, but Matt Yo spoke very highly of them. They're in great shape. He did texture them a little bit before the event.
Tu veux-tu essayer de descendre là?
Es-tu loin en arrière?
The rock from Northwest Territories might have slid a foot too far. There's an opportunity here for Quebec to come and freeze or tap it back, but it looks like they're going to elect to run it back and try and keep it simple.
Marie-France LaRouche, a silver medalist and a bronze medalist at the Scotties over the years.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Yes! Yes!
Yes!
Yes! Whoa! The throw.
They just missed getting that back one.
On essaye.
So Jamie Cooey now, step in.
Non, j'étais d'accord. J'étais d'accord, je n'ai pas joué vraiment.
Playing in his 6th Canadian Mixed Championship, skipping the Territories. And of course, he's played in a million Tim Hortons Briars, as everyone knows. The only skip ever to lead the Territories into the playoffs at the Tim Hortons Briar that occurred in Saskatoon.
Unfortunately, I think he ran into his brother in the bronze medal
He
game.
sure did.
But that was a great run by Jamie and team that year. Opportunity here to throw center guard and keep the pressure on Quebec with that shot rock on the top of the button.
Whoa! Whoa! Get to center. Whoa! Let's check it there. Whoa! 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 Whoa!
There you see that movement, Scott. Just really finishing nice. And talking to Scott, or to Jamie in the after his team's practice, he said it got a little straighter, believe it or not, after their morning practice, which he must have been moving a lot in the morning practice.
I think so. If they've textured the rocks and they did have some plant problems with the ice, it might have been curling a little bit more than they wanted, but seems to have settled down. But that guard did over curl by maybe half a rock. So looks like Jean-Michel's gonna throw some quiet weight and try and maybe flip under the guard that Jamie just threw.
Boy, and Scott, you talk about this back end for Quebec. I mean, arguably the 2 greatest skips in Quebec curling history, right?
Yep.
You got a Briar champ here, 2006. You got Marie-France, who played in so many Scotties. It's an amazing back end and amazingly experienced team.
Yeah, and although neither one have curled, at the level in a couple of years, it's obvious that they're still playing that well.
Yes! Yes!
And they're here representing Quebec.
Yes!
This looks like a really good line.
Juste clean. Yann. Non, non, pas Yann. Oh, que c'est beau.
Just beautiful
Marie,
control,
droite.
Scott.
Yeah, perfect roll.
I don't think we won. Sorry.
Great weight. He left the rock around at the back, but I think that's the weight he needed to throw to make that roll, and made it perfectly. So now sitting shot behind the center guard, and Jamie's going to have a choice. Try the run back, maybe freeze, and make it a really tough draw for 2.
Yeah, but even if you jam, I mean, I guess they have the double. I think so too. I mean, you can probably get to nose. Okay.
Looks like he'll try the same shot Jean-Michel, just to throw a different rotation on it.
Yeah.
Fine.
It's a testament to the curl. That guard is better than halfway, and he thinks he can get to this almost fully buried rock with probably about that same weight just through the rings. Shot, avoided the jam.
My
back.
goodness. Wow.
Kept a shooter around, sitting 3.
I think.
Yeah. Good point. From this angle way back here, it's definitely in, but I'm sure.
But that makes a difference, too. Do they go for the double and blank, or do they think that rock at the back is on?
Yeah.
Decision time here.
Absolutely.
Moi, ça me va de jouer tes cartes. Ouais. Contrôle. Oui.
Looks like he might just be playing the nose on the shot
C'est pas
rock.
en arrière.
I think so.
En tout cas, c'est sûr qu'il y a le drap, mais ça c'est
Jean-Michel won this event in 2001, I believe it was, and if he wins this year, it would be 20 years apart, which is remarkable. And for a time, I thought that was the longest gap between championship victories, but someone from PEI quite rightly pointed out that Robert Campbell won these things 22 years apart. So.
Whoa! Yep! Whoa! Whoa! Yes! Yep! Yep! Whoa! Whoa! Yes! Yes! Nice shot.
Right on the nose. Quebec's going to score one here in the first. And on and off all the way down is always a sign that it's pretty close.
Mission accomplished, though, for Team Northwest Territories. They certainly put the pressure on the entire end and forced Quebec to take a single. And the Territories will have hammer in this second end. 8 end games, 30 minutes on the time clock for both teams, 2 90-second timeouts. 3 sheets in play here at the Canmore Golf and Curling Club here in beautiful Canmore, Alberta. A lovely early November morning here, a little bit of snow on the ground, and just reminds you what a pleasure it is to be in the Rocky Mountains.
So it looks like over on sheet B, Alberta took 2 in the first against Northern Ontario.
We'll give you a rundown of all of the other games going on. As we mentioned, Alberta team.
Lance pas de vite, Annie. Let's go.
Team McAlpine from Edmonton, they did take that first end deuce on 2017 Canadian mixed champion Trevor Bonneau from Northern Ontario.
Semble fort, mais pas assez.
And the other game on the ice features Nova Scotia. Craig Burgess, who was also out in Liverpool, Nova Scotia, watching those home hardware pre-trials. His daughter Carly was playing with Mackenzie Zacharias' team in those pre-trials. So it is Team Nova Scotia taking on Team Nunavut.
Good. Oh, shot, Annie.
Skipped by Peter Van Streen. They're from Iqaluit. Team Nova Scotia from Truro. And we will run down the scores periodically throughout the game, but a reminder, you can always get all the scores all the time on curling.ca/scoreboard. It's curling.ca/scoreboard. All the scores, all the standings, team lineups, you'll get it all there throughout these Canadian Mixed Curling Championship here in Canmore.
It looks perfect. It's just past that.
2?
Here on our sheet, Quebec came in top button with their first, and Looks like Jamie's feeling pretty confident about the ice right now and speed of draw away because he's going to throw the corner guard and get right into it here in the second.
Which makes our life easier. It's always more fun to talk about rocks in play than bang, 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 isn't it? But that's the fun part about mixed curling. I mean, most teams will go right away, right at you, which is always fun to watch.
Absolutely. Jean-Michel's asked for a tight guard here from Annie LeMay.
Husband and wife, of course, Annie LeMay and Jean-Michel Bernard, and it's a couple of couples. As we see Marie-France LaRouche and her longtime partner Ian Below sweeping.
Looks like this one might overcurl a touch.
Penny.
On the wrong side, it's going to give Jamie a chance to hit and roll and use it almost as a corner guard on the other side.
Megan Kohler, lead for the Territories, getting a rare opportunity to throw a hit.
Looks like they've decided to go behind the other corner. No, they gave it a chance, but it came up to the nose.
I keep wanting to take my gripper off.
Jean-Michel's going to try the same thing and roll it behind the center guard that's a little bit off the center line that he threw with the last rock.
Let's go.
Looks a little tight on release. It's curling.
Marie-France is going to have to work hard to get this by the guard, and it's going to crash.
Man.
It's going to give Jamie a chance now to use his corner. Sit two. A really good situation for the Territories.
Let's trust it.
Here's Cole Parsons. He's played at a couple Tim Hortons Briars with Team Northwest Territories when teammate of Jamie Cooey at both of those events.
Starting to come down. Coming down. We're still T.
Again, a lot of room by that guard, but it's finishing to the wing as well, which is good to see curl to the center line and away from it.
See, that's pretty much in jail.
I would say so. A little bit behind the tee, though, if Jean-Michel ever wanted to play around the corner.
Looks like he's going to take on the double here, though.
Yeah.
Plus. Clean. Whoa. No plus. Yep. Whoa. No plus. Yep. Whoa, c'est bon. Ok, un petit peu fort. Correct.
Yeah.
Came up to nose, which gives Jamie a chance to hit and roll. He's going to roll away, split the rings, and looks like play for two. The other option would be to hit and roll behind that corner and put two behind the corner. But he's going to roll away here.
Okay. Control. Yep. Control. Oh. Megan.
Called and made. Very nice.
Jean-Michel wants to hit and roll back towards the center. Slowly get those rocks a little closer together and maybe have a chance at a double later in the end.
You know, there's an example that you just mentioned, Scott, of how you can't expect to get out of the end immediately, but you just got to make a couple shots and be patient and get those rolls. Trying to hold this shooter.
Pretty big roll here.
Boy, that's a super shot.
Shot rock and actually a piece behind the Cooey rock. So.
And the good thing about it is Team Territories has to play at it, so that brings both rocks in play next time Quebec's in the hack. There you see the replay.
Can't understand.
Throw board, but don't throw more than that.
Okay.
Quiet weight, hit and roll back towards the center. This is going to roll deep in the house, so Jean-Michel's going to have a few options to get it at the end. But Cooey should still be sitting 2 if this is made. It's really curling. Just overcurled a bit, got their own, knocked it out of the rings and left their shooter in the open. So now the end's completely flipped, and Jean-Michel's going to be able to sit 2 and force Cooey here.
Big turnaround.
OK.
Comme ça? Ou tu vas jouer plus fort?
Non, non, c'est
There's
correct.
always a risk with the quiet weight they chose there. The hack weight, I think, she threw the weight called for it, just killed it a bit more than they expected.
Yep, yep.
Yep!
Yes, surprise.
Yes!
Yes, tout le temps.
Hard!
Yes, yes.
Hard!
Are they going to hold this shooter?
Might use.
Oh, just through the hole.
You can just draw. Okay.
Jamie's got options again here. He can
Yeah,
use that
let her
corner
draw.
guard, draw around,
Yeah.
nose, and keep it simple. Looks like they've decided to, I think, play the hit with that same quiet weight.
Not more.
Yeah. Hard, Cole. Hard, Cole.
Cole Parsons being asked to keep this online.
Hard, Cole.
Similar path to the one that overcurled last time.
We can say definitively that spot curls.
It does, yeah. Don't think that rock is in.
Let's go.
So Jean-Michel is going to use that corner. It's late enough in the end that he can use the corner, even though he doesn't have the hammer. And try and bury one and force Cooey. If he makes a good one here, especially with those rocks at the back, it'll be tough for Cooey to get out, so he might have to draw.
OK. Fait qu'elle devrait être speed tout le long. OK. Idéalement, juste full 12. En shooter, on avait
I'd
lancé
love to
quoi?
see that old brownie that Jean-Michel uses as his throwing broom. Unique delivery.
I wonder if it's the same one he used back in, was it 2006 when he won the
Just
Briar?
The Briar could have been.
Yep!
Juste those pieds.
Yes!
You don't mess with success.
Go, 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 go. Lâchez pas.
Is he going to get
curly.
there?
I don't think so. This looks light and crashing as well.
Boy, you don't want to stagger it.
Serré ou...
Rolled off. Cooey's absolutely going to use this. He's going to come right around it.
To be expected, though, Scott. I mean, first draw of the Canadian Championship. They only had a few minutes to practice on each sheet this morning, so there's going to be a learning period
I
at the
think
beginning
so.
of this event.
For sure. They did have the practice before the game and draw the button. Jean-Michel was just a few centimeters from covering the screw, but that was a very different path. He was trying to go out to the wing here, so the speed obviously is a little bit different this early in the game, and just got caught a little bit.
Jamie, of course, you may have seen him on the Sportsnet broadcast in the background of some of the games involving his brother Kevin, who was playing out at the Grand Slam event in Chestermere. About an hour and a half, I guess, straight east of here.
Yeah.
Lines of hair tight.
I'd say so. Just straight through the city, about as far away from the city as we are, but east of the city.
Lines of hair tight. Just let it go on its own. On its own.
Speed looks good. Might over curl a touch, but
Good, Jimmy.
Pretty good.
yep.
Bleu, c'est incroyable.
They might have to come through the port there, it looks like. Yep. But a chance for JM to get the mid-roll himself.
J'essaie de passer dans le trou.
Looks like he can see, I think, about half a rock on
On en voit
the,
combien, là?
through the port. they're asking the front end right now how much they can see if he can, what weight he needs to throw to make sure he sticks around.
I prefer to refer to that as a skinny 2/3, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, this is a path we haven't seen yet, and they probably wouldn't have thrown in practice. So it'll be interesting to see how they navigate this.
Clean. Yep. Yes.
Big scrub from Ian below, trying to get it through this port.
Yes. Okay, whoa.
And it will be tight. They're trying and drag that in, but it's going to spin out, I think.
Yeah.
And it will be a draw, touch paint, and a deuce for the Territories for Jamie Cooey here.
Yeah, two really good ends for the Territories here. The force in one, and then the two here. Despite a couple hack waiters that overcurled, they're still controlling this game early on. I think Team Quebec, they've got a lot of experience. They know how to figure ice out, and I think they will pretty quickly here.
A little wider. Line's a little wider. Okay, well done.
Sweepers
Well
look
done.
pretty comfortable with the weight, just cleaning it in.
Should be good.
Hands go up from Team Quebec, so I think they think it's going to stop in time, and it does. Back four, so a 2 for the Territories.
Put them on the board. Yeah, like you say, if you're scripting a first couple ends for the team that doesn't get hammered in the first end, this is pretty good script right here that Team Territories has followed.
I think so, yeah. Well, we'll see what Team Quebec does here in the third with the hammer. I imagine they're going to want to get some rocks in play and try to get the deuce right back and jump back in front.
Well, like you say, that's a team with enough experience up and down the lineup that will not be fazed by any kind of scenario that they're facing so far. It's worth noting, we're talking about that Canadian juniors in when they played each other in 1996. It was a game that actually kept, essentially, Jamie Cooey out of the playoffs. A 4-2 win for Quebec that year, and Jamie's team had to play in a tiebreaker and did not win the tiebreaker. That Canadian juniors, by the way, the women's champion, you may know her, Heather Nidawin, won that juniors. And some great players in that event, by the way. Ryan Fry skipped Manitoba that year. Kid named Brad Gushu, you may be familiar with him. He skipped Newfoundland Labrador. Pat Ferris skipped Ontario. We saw Pat at the pre-trials, home hardware pre-trials last week. And he had a guy you and I were talking about, the heater, Heath McCormick.
Yeah.
Playing vice for him. Joel Jordison, a veteran campaigner out of Saskatchewan, was in that event as well.
Yeah.
We mentioned the women's teams, Heather Nedawin. Christy Moore played second for Heather that year. Jenna Richard, who BC curling fans will know all about. Heather Strong out of Newfoundland Labrador. Carrie Cooey skipping the Northwest Territories, Jamie's twin sister.
Easy, yeah.
So no shortage of talent, and Marie-France LaRouche happened to be skipping Quebec that year. So pretty good Canadian juniors. That was at the Shamrock Club up in Edmonton. The men's champion, by the way, that year was Jeff Curry, representing Northern Ontario.
Yeah.
There's a couple rocks in the rings. I think that corner guard came in a little deep.
It did, yep. Yeah, Cooey called in the rings with the first, called and made, and then Jean-Michel Menard asked for a corner guard, and right to the tee line. So Cooey's going to hit, try and sit two, pretty well spread out, and we were talking about it earlier. We like to see rocks in play. This might not be the end, but we'll see. This one is out there. It's got to curl a bit.
Just tickle it. Did it tickle it enough? Jamie Cooey working hard on it, but it's not going to get out. mention that these two skips do have a history. They played 7 times over the years at the Tim Hortons Brier. And Jean-Michel has won 6 of those games. Their last meeting was in 2017. That was an 8-6 win for Quebec and Jean-Michel Menard.
Looks like Jamie maybe has remembered those results because he's come out fire in here. I think he wants to get one back in the head-to-head matchup.
Oh, we...
Annie LeMay trying to adjust her weight on that corner guard and adjust it a little too much.
It's her second hog rock, and maybe that might be an indication too that these rocks aren't matched exactly the way they thought they were performing in practice.
So it gives Kui another chance to hit and stay and sit 2 in the rings.
Pair up. Yep. Yep, hard, Megan, hard. Pair up. Really hard. Hard.
Hit and roll, and I think rolled too far. He did. So. Jean-Michel's going to walk up, hit the one rock in the rings, and it looks like we're going to play a pretty clean end from here on out.
Guess we really shouldn't have been talking about rocks in play.
No.
I'm going to put this on you.
Yes!
Parce que oui.
Whoa, whoa!
Ouais, t'es bon.
Whoa!
Whoa, whoa, Annie, whoa.
Yep!
Yep, 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 yep.
OK. C'est bon.
We'll hit and roll to the side, change up the path.
Okay. All right. Same weight. Okay.
You mentioned these teams are on time clocks, 30 minutes for each team, each game. So an end like this does help the teams bank a little bit of time, give them a little bit more time later in the game to think things through.
Same.
That one's not going to hang on either.
Hit and roll out. It's going to give Jean-Michel some options here.
On pensait que c'était
My guess is this late in the end, he'll probably throw it in the rings and keep it clean. But there would be the option to throw a corner and kind of see if you could get Kui to bite and come around it. So the call was for T-line in the 8-foot.
T-line, attention à l'air fort ici.
Mais pas
C'est
tant.
pas, OK, c'est vous autres, sorry.
Scott, you've played in events at this club over the years. Very good ice surface here and good club. Just a nice club to be at.
Yeah, absolutely. The ice is great, especially since they started having the Qualico mixed doubles here, and they've had some ice makers come in and teach a few courses. The ice is absolutely terrific, but the club is even better. The people at the club and the management of the club. It's a great place, and my wife and I had to move out of town and leave the club, but we come back as much as we can to play in their events.
Jim Comfort is the chief ice technician here at the Canmore Golf and Curling Club, doing a great job and working alongside Curling Canada's ice technician for the event, Matt Yo. Alberta curling fans will certainly know that name, and they'll know his dad as well, Timmy Yo, longtime ice technician in Alberta, and did some Curling Canada events back in the years before retiring and spent some time in Arizona, but apparently he's back in Alberta. And Matt tells me that we might even have a Tim Yo sighting by the end of the week here in Canmore, which would be great.
Great opportunity for Jim and the team to learn from another great ice maker by having this event here. So I anticipate the ice will only get better and better here out in Canmore.
Yeah!
Marie France going out to the wings here, trying to hit and stick around. She's done just that right on the nose. Great spot to leave that.
They have found a tricky spot in the ice to play on, though, for these hit and sticks.
Yeah.
There's no gimmies out there.
I think this shows the level of preparation on the ice before the games. I think at most clubs you'd see a lot of frost buildup over there on the edges, but it looks like this path's running pretty
Merci,
true.
bien brossé.
So just exchanging nose hits here. Marie France will look to do it again. One more nose hit though will be even will make it even trickier on Kui. They won't be able to nose hit back. They'll be able to ring. So
Non, 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 Yann. Yann.
advantage.
Fait qu'ils ont le moins.
Territories will be able to nose hit this now.
It's interesting too, you know, Kevin Cooey noted as one of the slower skips out there. Jamie, on the other hand, does not put an awful lot of thought into strategy. Not that he's not a good strategist, but he is a quick player.
Yeah. He makes his decision and right down the ice to throw. Yeah, his brother Kevin, I think it was in the semi-final or quarterfinal against Kushi, with 5 seconds to go to throw his last rock, and that's not abnormal.
5 seconds, that's an eternity.
Yeah.
Oh, un roule au centre. Là.
OK.
Jean-Michel Menard. Talk about that 2006 Tim Hortons Brier in Regina. He beat Glenn Howard in that final and then went on to win a silver medal at the World Championship that year in Lowell, Massachusetts, losing to Scotland's David Murdoch in the gold medal game.
Oh. Clean. Clean. Yann. Yann.
Still trading nose hits out here on the wing.
Yep. Ah, good job.
This one, Jean-Michel hits and rolls out.
Yeah? Or go to the other side, make him throw this way.
Jamie is going to have an opportunity to switch up the path.
Okay.
See where he thinks there might be a trick in the ice.
Okay.
Looks like he's heading back towards that same side of the sheet, though. I wonder if he thinks there's enough curl to get a little bit of this rock under. You'd have to hang it on the very edge, but...
Line's good. Wait only.
So we'll see where this ends up. But
Got a curl.
the broom was
Hold
middle
on,
forefoot
hold
on one side.
Going hard.
They're thinking seven feet of curl. Looks like they might get it.
Yes, if you can. Yep.
Go, Marie, go. Ah, arrête.
What a shot.
Wow.
He's on.
Jamie, it's not bad. Yeah, that's real good, Jamie.
Yeah.
FYI.
He has
And there it is. It's forcing Jean-Michel. He's not going to mess with that.
Oh, yeah, he is going to draw for one.
What an outstanding shot by Jamie Cooey.
Ouais, elle était pas née là.
Great judgment by Cole Parsons there.
It
He
really
had
was,
to
yep.
sweep it to the very back to get that buried, and he took the chance and got it right where it needed to go.
Routine 7 feet of curl.
So even here, it looks like Jean-Michel's going to try to draw the button. He's got almost 6 feet of ice here.
Just for wait. Line's good.
Does need half the 12 foot here for one. But again, another great end played by Northwest Territories.
Easy.
On regarde.
You've heard of Skip's deuces. That's a Skip's force right
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
So it is a draw for one for Jean-Michel Menard, and we will be in a tie game after 3 ends here in first round action at the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship here at the Canmore Golf and Curling Club. I'm Al Cameron from Curling Canada, joined by color commentator Scott Rankler as we enjoy this first day of action in Canada's Mixed Curling Championship. 2 other games on the ice. We mentioned Nova Scotia now up in they took 5 in the first end, and none of it came back with 1 in the second, so it's a 5-1 lead for Nova Scotia's Craig Burgess in that game, and it is Nova Scotia with hammer. And we're on Skip's Rocks. We'll give you an update when we see a score posted in the Alberta Northern Ontario game on sheet B. A reminder, we will be back on the air with second draw action. We've got 3 draws a day from here in Canmore for the rest of the week, but just 2 draws today on opening day, and we'll be back on the air at 6:30 or as close to it, Mountain Time. There will be an opening ceremony after this draw. And, if we get on schedule, we should be okay for a 6:30 start time for the evening draw.
Okay, over and off.
Vas-y, vas-y, vas-y. Mais là, t'as 4-14.
That game, by the way, will feature Ontario and the Yukon.
Go, 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 go.
Are they going to get this across?
Looks like they just
Good
did.
scratch.
J'avais quand même 4-14.
I think that's a rock that's given them troubles.
Yeah, that's three times that they've been well short with that rock.
Top 8.
Normally, if there's a rock that they don't love, they'll give it to the lead. But she already has the rock, so she's gonna have to figure out how to throw those a little bit different.
We're all there.
Two different speeds of her rocks.
Ontario's Mike McLean, by the way, from Ottawa, taking on the Yukon's Terry Miller from Whitehorse. That'll be at 6:30 Mountain Time, 8:30 Eastern, here on Curling Canada's YouTube channel. And we'll make that, 6 p.m. tonight, not 6:30. It could be 6:30 depending on how the opening ceremony goes, but it is 6 p.m. is scheduled start time, 8 p.m. Eastern.
So Territories came a little deep with their come around.
Let's go.
We see with all the curl on this ice that guard that's just over the hog line I don't think is really going to be in play, but they are going to play around it, and Annie LeMay is going to try and freeze to the Territories rock.
Passe bro. Ligne est belle.
Oui, oui, oui.
Ligne est parfaite. Ligne est parfaite. S'en vient belle.
Mixed curling, you get the opportunity to see some of these lifetime skips. Get out there and sweep.
Always fun. Always fun.
Go, 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 go.
I'll say both Louis France and Jean-Michel, not bad. Back button there. Kui's going to, looks like a freeze tap, and try and free up the blue to take it out later.
We can give you an update from Sheet B. It is Northern Ontario. It's Trevor Bonneau from Thunder Bay, the 2017 Canadian champion. Stealing 2 in the third end to take a 4-2 lead on Alberta's Team McAlpine.
Hot board.
Yeah, it's funny you say that about watching skips play out of position. One of my fondest memories, one of my first national curling events was the 86 Canadian Mixed Championship in Kamloops, where I grew up. And it was a final that year, one of the greatest walk-off shots ever between Ontario's Dave Van Dyne against an Alberta team that had Pat Ryan skipping and Randy Furby playing second.
Wow.
So the Furbs was sweeping that stone. Sweeping for that game, but it was Dave Van Dyne who made this amazing double angle raise to win the Canadian Championship.
Oui, vas-y. Ouais.
Wonder if that's the event that made Randy try everything in his power to never sweep again.
Done.
As we know, he
Thanks, Al.
was the skip of the Furby 4, but through third rocks he called the game.
And in Randy's defense, he did play third for Pat Ryan back in the day, so he's not unfamiliar with sweeping. So a little bit of a miss there for me and below, and chance for the Territories to get in there and sit 2.
Top 8. Top 4. It's really close. Gotta go, Matt. Top 8.
Again, Jamie hit the broom in the middle of the 4-foot. They're going to be way over there on the wing. Take a bit of an effort to get it in the rings, but I think they're dragging it.
Go, Jamie, go, go, go.
Almost ran out of rings, but they got it on there.
Good separation between those stones. That's a tricky double, to say the least.
To say the least, yeah. Yeah, it would have to be a slash to make it, but the hit and roll to the center, and just like a few ends ago, try and kind of creep them together until you get a more natural double.
Oui, c'est bon. C'est yes!
Whoa! Whoa!
Just couldn't get the roll, so another chance for Team Territories to sit a couple.
So there's that center guard. Could come around and sit 2 behind the guard, but he's going to elect to keep the rock separated as much as possible. He's going to go out to the wing, knowing that Jean-Michel can't really come around that center guard to get into the end.
Not much. Top 8. Top 4. Where's it? Top 4 T.
You know, this event has a pretty rich history of champions over the years, as we both know, Scott. I mean, you look back through the years, Darren Moulding, of course, with Team Botcher now. He won in 2014 at Ottawa. Good buddy of yours, Corey Hegstad from Ontario in 2013. Just a guy we both happen to like,
Yeah.
so we'll drop his name just because.
And I think Darren beat him when Darren won his championship in the final.
Marie-France trying to get the hit and a little bit of a roll. Pretty good.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Good try.
Mark Dacey, another Brier champ, won in 2010. John Epping, there he is in 2006. He'll be at the Tim Hortons Canadian Curling Trials later this month in Saskatoon, as well the 2005 champion Mark Nichols playing. He'll be playing Vice for Brad Gushue in Saskatoon. 2004, a pretty notable champion, Shannon Kleibrink from here in Alberta, and notable as the only female to ever skip a championship team at the Canadian Mixed. Mark Dacey, by the way, a 2-time champion. Paul Fleming, a 2-time champion, and there in 2000 over in Lethbridge, there was Kevin Cooey skipping Alberta to a Canadian championship. So big names. We can't go without saying Jeff Stoughton has won this event on a couple of occasions as well.
I see Peter Gallant's name on the list, and you know, the father of Brent Gallant, who is one of the world's best mixed doubles.
Absolutely, and you would have seen him up close and personal in those Qualico events.
Yeah.
Qualico mixed doubles events in Banff and here at the Canmore Golf and Curling Club.
Yeah, my wife and I played them on the live streamed game, which was unfortunate for us because it was a quick live stream.
I was going to say, how'd that go for you? But
Yes! Yes! Yes!
trying to get that roll is Marie-France LaRouche, but I think it's going to be on the nose.
A little bit of a roll. See where Jamie goes with this. Still trying to creep it back out, knowing Jean-Michel can throw a pretty good hit rate. So almost no matter where he rolls this, there'll probably be a double for Menard, but try to make it as tough as possible. Trying to keep it out there. Looks like it's close. Might have overswept it.
Cole
did.
Parsons.
He's too strong.
You may have heard Marie-France LaRouche. He's too strong.
Aller là, c'est inutile.
No way.
He muscled that out.
On va y aller contrôle. On n'a pas joué autant là, dans le sens.
Jean-Michel probably hit the back one. They briefly looked at coming around that center guard, but again, it's...
Common sense prevailed, I think.
Yeah.
Contrôle. Ça, c'est bumper, mais c'est correct, je vais lancer en conséquence.
OK.
Bumper fort.
Yep. Yes!
It's really curling early.
Annie LeMay is going to have to scrub this hard to get it by the top guard. Will they hold the shooter?
Yes, 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 yes.
Just enough. I'm not sure if that was in release from Jean-Michel or maybe a spot in the ice, but that caught them by surprise.
Sure
About
did.
6 or 10 feet out of his hand. It really started to pick some curl.
Feel it? Unless you go here again.
Jamie is going to take no chances here. He's going to walk up and peel this center guard. They looked at going back to the wing, But if they don't make it, they're worried about Jean-Michel coming around the guard. So he's just going to peel it. There's going to be nowhere for Jean-Michel to go. He's probably going to have to freeze one of the ones on the back. And be a pretty simple end for Jamie Cui. Looks to be pretty good. Makes the peel, loses the shooter, and we'll see where Jean-Michel goes to try to force one here. He's going to try.
Boy, if he can pull off what Jamie pulled off last end, because that was a force that came out of nowhere.
That was. This would have to be an absolutely perfect freeze, and even at that, I'm not sure it'd be enough with the weight that Jamie Cui can throw. So. Yeah, and almost edge of the forefoot on the other side of the sheet to freeze a rock that's on the side of the 12-foot. So lots of curl. Looks like the speed's been pretty consistent this game.
Line's good.
OK, correct. Elle est belle. Faut rester dans le rond.
Just freeze.
Elle va glisser à la fin.
Ah, on va y aller, inquiète-toi pas.
Yep.
They're going to have to finish this one a bit, but it's coming in.
I think you just go for weight because the line looked pretty tasty. Pretty good. Oh. Just kind of lost some of the forward momentum with the sideways momentum, I think.
Anything on the high side of the rock here for Cui will do the trick. The blank end, and we will head to the fourth end break.
Sweep is called right away.
Can't nose this. No problem for Jamie Cui. So blank end and tie game at the break.
It will be a 2-2 game when we come back for the fifth end. The teams will take a break. We will too. We'll be right back to the Canmore Golf and Curling Club for fifth end action.
One might say I was born to overcome challenges. 2 months premature, in and out of the hospital, and a heart condition. My parents call me their miracle baby. As with all survivors, I searched for my place in this world, and I found it here. This pebbled ice is where I battle now, and at only 12, I am already a 5-year veteran of this sport. I have my sights set on the Olympics. I will push hard to get there. The only size that matters in this sport is the size of your dreams.
Sweep! Hurry! Hurry! Hard! Hurry hard! Hard! Hurry hard! 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 Yeah! We should really be curling.
Before there was ice, there was our hallway at home. I was always the shy, quiet kid who loved math. But when I saw math come alive in the geometry of the game, I found my passion and my voice. It's a game of precision, a game of inches. It's the equation that now defines who I am.
This ice is everything. It's where I come to feel close to her, to feel whole. This building helped raise me when my mother no longer could. When I step on the ice, she steps with me. My dad is my rock. We're a team now, like the four of us when we step on the ice. People say that this isn't a contact sport, but that's not true. It contacts you where you need it the most.
Welcome back to Canmore, Alberta. It is the Canmore Golf and Curling Club, and we are about to start the fifth end of this Draw 1 game between Alberta, holy smokes, Alberta on my brain. We got the Northwest Territories, Jamie Cooey team from Yellowknife, and Jean-Michel Menard's team from Quebec. My name is Al Cameron from Curling Canada, joined by Scott Moncourt. And Scott, let's put you in the role of coach of these teams. If you were with these teams at the fourth end break, what might you have told them about those first four ends and their approach for the last four ends? And let's start with Team Territories.
Sure, yeah. For Team Territories, I would have said, you know what, more of the same. Great first half, controlled almost every end, kept it pretty simple, and made a lot of shots. So more of the same. You started without the hammer tied. You're starting the second half with the hammer tied. So I think that's a win.
And Team Quebec, meanwhile.
For Team Quebec, I mean, top to bottom, they have world-class talent. I probably would have told them to mix it up a little bit more. Let's get a few more rocks in play. I know that comes down to lead rocks, and they might have a tricky rock, but let's get that figured out, get some rocks in play, and put a little bit more pressure on the Territories.
Okay.
So we will go into this fifth end. It is Team Northwest Territories with Last Rock. Jamie Cooey doing Jamie Cooey things out there. Just a magnificent force in the third end that, you know, it's just your routine 7-foot draw behind a guard that was on the edge of the 12-foot over by the boards. And one of those shots that you just drop and think, yeah, well, let's just try it just for fun. And what do you know? He made it and forced Quebec to take a single. And that's really been the story of this game, that shot.
Yep, yeah, that's really the one that has turned things around and flipped that hammer. A few misses by both teams in the first half. I think we'll see that cleaned up here in the second half. The corner guard goes up here, and Jean-Michel is going to throw center guard and hopefully mix it up a little bit more here in the fifth end.
Just still one game waiting to go into the fourth end break, and once that game's complete, we'll give you the scores on the other two games. And a reminder, you can get all the scores all the time. Curling.ca/scoreboard. That's curling.ca/scoreboard. All the scores all the time from here at the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship in Canmore, Alberta. And some signs of winter out there, Scott. The golf course behind us is covered with snow. Not too much, but enough that you'll see the elk hoof prints out there when they're around.
You will. They are on that golf course all year round. And yeah, unfortunately it is closed, but you know what? It's curling season here. So, so center guard slipped into the rings here. Those are the kinds of things that Quebec needs to clean up a bit here. Territories are happy to play this clean. Especially if they have the hammer, they'll take 3 blank ends and draw for 1 in the 8th.
I haven't heard that too often. It's got to curl.
You might have heard Jean-Michel Menard. Yeah, that needed to curl, and that's this is definitely ice that curls, so we've seen that.
Tight.
It's great for the members of the Canmore Curling Club as well to have these events and have the ice in this condition and the rocks freshly papered, because then they get to play on these conditions next week in their league games. I know that's exciting for a lot of the members.
No, it's probably like just control.
But Scott, there is a profound difference between club ice and championship ice. And we're in a club and we talk about the differences between arena ice a lot of times and club ice, but there can be profound differences in club ice the way it's prepped. No different than a golf green, right?
Yeah, yeah, very true. You can have 7 feet of curl here. You can have a lot of clubs, and probably more the case where there's 1 foot of curl. So it depends on the rocks, the ice, and conditions like this. The players I think that are more used to arena ice, like Jamie Cooey and Marie-France LaRouche, I think they're going to be in a bit of an advantage, knowing how to throw positive rotation and make sure that they're getting out to the room.
And there it is right there, Scott, is so much of this game on this kind of conditions is predicated on your release.
Yeah, yeah. With this much curl, fast ice, you can't get away with a standard lazy release. That 7 feet of curl we saw will quickly become 10 and uncontrollable.
So the other 2 games on the ice have reached their 4th end break. In fact, one of them has started into the 5th end. Northern Ontario's Trevor Bonneau stole 5 in the 4th end, and he now takes a 9-2 lead over Team Alberta and Craig McAlpine from Edmonton. See that shot going crazy, and Marie-France, I think, knows it's probably going to miss across the face.
She's got a bit of it, but I don't think enough to get it out. She's going to just kick it over to the other side.
And the other game on the ice, it is Team Nova Scotia, Craig Burgess' team from Truro, taking a 6-2 lead after 5 ends. On Team Nunavut, skipped by Peter Van Strain from the Iqaluit Curling Club.
An okay pass, do you think? Or do you think it's a hair spot?
So a deuce building here.
Yeah, and again, just from a couple misses from Quebec. Despite how good they are and how we think they're one of the favorites at the end of the week, they're just struggling with the icer. Key misses are leading to Northwest Territories being able to control and dictate the end. So again, they're going to split the rings. Sit 2. There hasn't been anything complicated for Jamie to deal with so far in this game, and more of the same here in the 5th.
And if you're talking about advantages, too, you talked about being able to throw on these kind of conditions. Margot Fleming, having played 2 events with championship conditions already this season, the Home Hardware Road to the Home Hardware pre-trials in Liverpool, Nova Scotia, but of course she was with Team Galusha at the direct entry, pre-trials direct entry event in Ottawa in September. So 2 events where keen ice with lots of rotation, lots of movement, and boy, having that kind of experience at your vice skip position is huge.
Huge. Yeah, especially at 3rd where those key shots need to be made and the misses just can't happen. So the fact that she has that experience and has been playing on ice similar to this, so far, does seem to be an advantage.
She was throwing second stones for that Galusha team that did such a great job in getting to the Home Hardware pre-trials. Had a great run in Ottawa at the direct entry pre-trials event.
Great hit and roll there by Quebec that has made, I think for the first time in the game, territories have to make a difficult shot. So they've got to make this run back to ensure they can still set up the deuce. Trying to make this curl a little bit. They just need another inch of curl. So under curls, they miss the run back, and just like that, Jean-Michel is going to have an opportunity to split the rings, and the force will be back on.
And it's just one shot, one roll that can turn around and end, and Marie-France LaRouche did get that roll in her last shot, so force is on, potentially.
Faut jouer assez fort quand même, contrôle.
For the most part, in the spots like this, out toward the wing, they've been playing it outside in. This is one of the first times they're going to see inside out, so maybe Jean-Michel sees this as a more controllable spot for curl.
Yes!
But early, they've picked it up early, and that is really curling. Same spot Marie-France LaRouche is over curled. And looks like the same thing is going to happen.
Gonna catch a piece. It does.
But not enough again to get it out. So just like that, back to Team Cooey. Nose hit, split the rings.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree.
I think it will take all of these teams a couple games to really figure out this ice and these rocks, but first one that does will be a big advantage.
Jamie Cooey, his first stone of the fifth end. Chance to sit a couple.
This is going to roll back towards the center. Probably going to give Jean-Michel a chance at the double. He may hit and roll in front, another option, because it would be a slash double. The shooter would roll out, so the hit and roll in front would make Jamie make a difficult shot. Not sure what weight they called here, but that ice could be for either the double or the hit and roll.
Ouais, mais la 7 est condamnée aussi. On va essayer de rouler dedans. Là.
Mentioned Jean-Michel Menard did win that 2001 Canadian Mixed Championship, beat Mark Dacey in Nova Scotia in the championship game. And stole the 10th end, as a matter of fact, to win 5-4. Does he have it?
They were trying to make the double, but he's going to stick around for shot. So Jamie's going to have to hit and stay. Same spot he just threw his last hit, though, so he should have good grasp on this spot. He's got a lot of room to roll towards the center lines.
Jamie Cooey lost the 2015 gold medal game that was played in North Bay, Ontario. Lost to Saskatchewan, skipped by Max Kirkpatrick. Reminder, by the way, the winner of this event will represent Canada at the 2022 World Mixed Curling Championship next October in Aberdeen, Scotland.
Whoa. Clean.
So they're cleaning early. Now they're sweeping.
Right
No panic in the voice, though. I think they're okay. Just off the nose, rolls in. It's a 2 for Cooey, and first 2-point lead of the game.
And it's interesting, you know, we talk about adjusting to early event ice conditions, and you got to say, Team Northwest Territories has really done a nice job managing these conditions so far.
They have. They definitely seem to have a better grasp on the ice. We saw there twice pretty significant overcurls from Team Quebec, and the Territories, if they're missing an ice call, it's by an inch or two, not by a rock. So.
mentioned that World Mixed Curling Championship that'll take place next October in Aberdeen, Scotland. Worth noting that Canada has won the last 2 World Mixed Championships, 2019 in Aberdeen. Colin Kurz won that championship for the Manitoba team. And in 2018 at Kelowna, BC, it was Mike Anderson and his Ontario team winning the gold medal. And the year before that, at Champery, Switzerland, it was Trevor Bonneau and Canada finishing second to Scotland, skipped by Grant Hardy. The last 2 editions of the World Mixed Championship, of course, canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, these Canadian championships were supposed to be here in Canmore last November, and unfortunately couldn't go. Things were pretty bad at the time, but great that they Canmore got a second chance, and we're here live and in person now. So first rock slips to the back of the house. That's going to be no bother to Jean-Michel, so he's going to ignore it, throw the corner guard. And we're down to 3 ends to go. Jean-Michel's down by 2 points, so I think he absolutely has to start to press now. 2 here, force in the 7th, and he'll be happy again. But it all starts with a 2 here.
Mine's good.
Yeah, put something on the scoreboard for sure in this even end, and somehow make sure you have Hammer coming home. That's sure prime on his mind. May will put the corner guard up.
Looks like she's figured out the speed on that rock.
Okay.
It's in a great spot.
We will not see this.
Jamie recognizing that the rock in the house isn't going to be the one that forces this end, or is unlikely to. He's going to throw center guard. We haven't seen an end yet with a lot of rocks in play, but this could be the end, the way that it's starting out.
I think that's a reflection, like you said, Scott, that Team Quebec has to force the issue here.
Yeah. So it might be slipping into the rings. So we'll see what Jean-Michel decides to do with it. If he ignores it and goes around his corner that he just asked for, or if he maybe plays a hit and roll behind the corner. He's going to throw double corner. So Jean-Michel is really committed to this end here. There's Territories have a rock on top of the button. They're going to be able to guard it after this, and Jean-Michel still going to stay on the offense and throw a second corner guard. We see this more and more, double corner on the same side. We used to always see corner on one side, corner on the other. Now they've gone to the same side.
Elle va partir, elle aussi. Ici. Elle va partir.
On va y aller. Faut-tu qu'elle curle? Oui? Non?
Non, elle est parfaite. Easy.
Easy?
Yep.
Yeah, 15-9.
Well, that'll be a confidence boost, I think, for Annie LeMay.
Yeah.
2 good shots.
Yeah, 2 perfect shots. 2 corner guards, 1 guard in the other. And with the amount of curl, even though that second one's really tight to the ring, she'll be able to get around that no problem. So as expected, Jamie's going to throw the center guard. He's got a rock in a great place right now, so throw the center guard on it and make Jean-Michel and his team make a few key shots if they want their 2 here.
We're all there. We're all there right now. Okay, do you want it in then?
So it's already over curled.
Top 8.
So they're thinking about bringing this into the rings because it won't do any good as a guard having over curled. So that could be the break Jean-Michel needed. He can move that rock off the button and get behind the corner. Looks like he's gonna be patient, play the freeze first, eventually knowing he can move that rock and use his corners.
In below.
Mine's good.
No.
This looks a little toasty.
En arrière?
Oui.
Maybe they're going to try and freeze to the back one, but I don't know.
It might be heavy for that. Hasn't picked up that curl that you would expect, which is always a sign that it's heavy.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
That was an opportunity missed by Quebec. Jamie's got a chance to throw center guard and sit 3, but he looks like he's going to walk up and peel one of those corner guards.
Cool.
Smart play up 2 in the 6th end and control the rings right now.
Those are the stones that might give him trouble late in the end, clearly. Yep.
Yeah, the only way he's giving up 2 here really is if he leaves those corner guards.
Parsons with the peel.
Just the top one. Those guards were in such great position that the double peel would have been really difficult without, if you wanted to lose the shooter as well. So just peeled the top one. Smart play.
So does he call the freeze again? Looks, or just,
hit and roll behind. He's going to use the Territories rock as a corner guard. Hit and roll behind it. He's thinking. Tap it back and roll.
Ouais, on va partir de billet, ce sera pas facile, mais on peut essayer ça.
A smarter play than just the hit. Try and create as much trouble as they can for the Territories by just moving these rocks around. So it'll be close to the same weight that Ian just threw, but in a different path.
Just freeze! Yeah!
It just sounds like it's lighter.
Annie LeMay, Marie France Farouche, longtime teammates, won a pile of Quebec Women's Championships, and then this is looking really good.
Great weight.
Nice shot.
Tapped it back. Second shot, but Jamie's got to deal with it.
I believe I heard him say pick it. That will be the call.
The other option would be to nose hit this and lose your rock back button, because that's not really helping Jamie. But the pick is fine.
I think it will be the nose or close to it. No, it will be picked.
Yeah. So now that rock has been tapped behind the button, Jean-Michel is going to just freeze it. Have his shot rock right on the button. And if this is made well, he'll have a good chance to get 2 here.
C'est fort, hein? Non, c'est large. On s'en vient, yes!
Mine's good.
Yes, ça curle beaucoup.
Yes!
So this one is curling as well.
Yes! Yes! Oh, ça curle.
It's just not anticipating the break, I think, eh? Had pretty good weight.
Yeah, all their misses have been over curls.
Elle tournait plus, hein? J'en donne plus. Vous voyez qu'elle partait, je suis là, oui.
Okay, just nose.
Veteran call here by Jamie Cooey. He's going to throw peel weight, hit the Quebec rock, and try to kick his out from behind the button. And the weight's important too, because if they're on the high side and they jam it at all, the high likelihood they still get the Quebec rock out.
Little pocket now, though.
Yeah. Probably a quiet little tap and flop right on top of the rock that's behind the button.
I think they're just playing cold freeze here, Scott.
Yeah.
Nestle it in there. It's going to be awfully tough.
Non.
Ligne est belle. Ligne est parfaite. Un petit peu plus large. On attend un petit peu.
Rarely want to give a player of this caliber the same shot twice. They've done here. Just a foot heavy, and it just didn't curl enough. Yeah, they needed about 2 inches more curl there, and if the weight was right, I think they would have got it. But
Then you just pick it and they have a force one. Yeah, I mean, if you roll too big, you just push that. Yeah. Okay. You like normal then? Okay.
normal weight this time. Looking for a hit and roll. I think if they push it out from the side of the button, they're not going to be upset. But I think if they can just hit and roll right on top of it, that'd be a pretty good position as well.
Chance to sit 5 for the Territories.
Those are side by side, so he is going to have to just kick it out a bit, I think. But normal weight, so. Great result there from Jamie Cooey.
Soit on joue pour prendre un, puis après ça, si on prend un, on va être capable de prendre deux.
On y va all in.
Jean-Michel may have to play the same shot that Marie-France just tried and freeze the back one. But Jamie then would have about a 6-inch run back. So he may have to move some rocks around.
It's getting a little scary here.
It is.
No.
I think the only thing in Jean-Michel's favor right now is that he has the hammer, so even though he might be looking at 6, he'll have a chance. So.
On reste une nez?
Ouais. Je pense qu'on n'a pas le choix. Faudrait que je passe serré sur le rouge.
He must be just trying to nose hit or hit and roll behind the one top 12. I think it's too late to start making doubles and triples here.
Yeah, that ship sailed.
Yeah. Reasonable amount of weight.
Annie LeMay trying to keep it on the line.
Go, 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 go.
Well,
there's triple number 1. If he's got another one, and
that wasn't the call, but it worked out okay. It's still the Territories sitting 2 rock in hand, though.
Yeah.
They're going to try and find a place to make Jean-Michel's draw tricky.
Yeah, if they can split the center line top 8 foot, there'll be no nose hit available for Jean-Michel. He'll have to come wide around.
Did this cross center?
And they're nice that curls this much. You may have the broom right on the edge of the sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's like draw the button. I like it.
It's kind of one of those things you see veteran skips who on straight ice can manipulate their release to get a little more curl on it, but can they manipulate it to get less curl on it to get to the spot? It's a tricky thing.
It is tricky. They can do it, being very positive with lots of rotation, but then they have to adjust the weight because it's going to go farther. Very hard to do.
Like most people will tell you, consistent release, as long as you do it the same way every time, that's probably your best shot at success as a curler.
Absolutely.
Whoa, then, whoa, it's running, really running. Where?
They're worried that this hasn't taken the curl yet, so it might be a little bit warm.
Can you
If it slips into the 4 foot, Jean-Michel may have just a quiet nose hit for 1.
Trying to get it to tick off the rock in the 12, but it will not, and it'll be taken deep.
Now they want to take it back so that Jean-Michel can't draw to it, but he still can. So he'll follow that same path that Jamie just threw. The only thing I think they need to think about here is Jamie almost clipped that one in the top 12. So if he's a foot heavy here, he's going to have to worry about that. As well, different releases.
Yes.
Yep. Plus slow, là.
Last shot of this 6th end for Jean-Michel Menard, the Quebec skip, looking at 3, trying to get a single and hang in this game.
Landing a bit.
Line's good.
Sweepers like it early.
Line's good. Court beaucoup déjà.
This is curling a lot earlier than Jamie's was.
Quatre pieds.
So I don't think they have to worry about the one in the 12 foot.
Gotta go.
Just have to make sure they get it there. They
Go, go, go.
almost need a piece of the 4 foot.
Gotta go.
Marie-France is out to help. They're dragging. It's going sideways, but I think they've done it.
Stop. What? blue. Yes.
Wow.
The weight was perfect. It almost curled sideways out of the forefoot.
But it is a single point for Quebec's Jean-Michel Menard, and a sigh of relief that we could hear even behind the glass here in the Canmore Golf and Curling Club, and it'll be a 4-3 lead for Team Northwest Territories, and they will take Hammer into the 7th end. First draw action at the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship, and big shout out to the organizing committee here at the Canmore Golf and Curling Club, led by the host committee chairman Dennis Graham, who's done a terrific job, and a big thank you to all the local sponsors of this event. Tourism Canmore, Kananaskis really stepping up for this event, but also we've got Canmore Raft Tours, the Canmore Brewery Distillery Tours, Big Rock Brewery, Moosehead Breweries, Mary's Popcorn Shop, GDS Golf Design Services Limited, Visions Electronics,
C'est beau, je pense qu'on est correct.
Black Stallion Spirits. I'm a big fan of El Tequilino tequila too, for the record, so I'll be speaking to our Curling Canada sponsorship people to see what we can do about a partnership with them at some point.
I'm sure you can work something out.
I know a guy who knows a guy. First draw action here today, this Sunday afternoon here in the beautiful Bow Valley of the Rocky Mountain region in Alberta. Great to have our friends at IKS Live, the production team that brought you streaming action, also at the Home Hardware pre-trials last week in Liverpool, Nova Scotia. Their crew coming all the way out here to Canmore for this event as well. And they'll be working alongside IKS Live for a lot of this season. Great crew to have to enjoy these broadcasts on Curling Canada's YouTube channel.
Annie LeMay asked for the center guard. Looks like she's got those rocks figured out. The weight's perfect.
Got it.
It's 2 ends to go. Quebec's down by 1. No option but to stay on the offense. Make sure they get a couple guards up there and probably play to steal. Force a 1. Not a bad result, but I think steal is what they're thinking.
Jamie Cooey coming out to sweep, give this a little hand. They don't want this out in front.
Go. Yeah, hard.
Yeah, Jamie had a few options there. Come around the center guard and beat Quebec to it. Could have thrown a corner guard. But I think, with the lead, he's going to keep the play simple. But the risk with coming around would have been leaving it short. But they were able to drag it into the rings.
Plus mal. OK. Cours beaucoup, là. Easy. And là, ici.
Excuse.
OK.
So another center guard here, thrown by Annie LeMay.
What's up, Annie?
Wow.
This one's just a little bit tighter.
Yeah. A little tap on the...
Missed the call. I'm not sure if they were trying to.
I think they were playing double centers.
Were they?
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah. I can tell you there's been a 7 posted on a scoreboard here. Nova Scotia's Craig Burgess from Truro has scored 7 in the 5th end
Draw to the wing.
to take a 13-2 lead on Nunavut. And it is a 9-5 lead for Northern Ontario's Trevor Bonneau over Alberta, and they are playing the 6th end. Alberta taking a 3 in the 5th end, so Nova Scotia or Northern Ontario does have last rock and that 9-5 lead over Team McAlpine from Edmonton.
So Territories here they were thinking about a tick shot and rolling in, but they've just decided to draw to the other side.
Parsons and Fleming trying to drag this in deep. They do not need to put any guards out front. That helps Quebec.
So they're sitting 2 with the hammer. So Jean-Michel is going to have to. He's going to have to stay committed to this now. He's coming back for Barry around to everything. Trying to entice the Territories into following him back there. building an opportunity to steal the 7th end.
Semble fort. C'est fort.
Not that this will come to us as a surprise, Scott, but neither team in any kind of time trouble.
No, there have not been many complicated ends or even shots here in this game so far. Last end was building, though. Jean-Michel, I mean, he was looking at 5 at one point. Ended up getting 1. So
that poked out the other side.
Yeah, you can see they're still struggling with the curl. Things seem to over-curl. I think there's shot rock in the back there. But Jamie's not going to take any chances here. He's going to start peeling guards, and I think he can probably make this double peel. Those guards are pretty close together.
Cole Parsons being asked to make the double peel, if possible.
And he's done just that. Rolled his shooter over for a corner as well, so perfect shot by Cole Parsons. So I think Jean-Michel probably has to put that back. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to throw the center guard. He needs one mistake. He can come around again and sit 2, and then the force would be on at least.
Tough to throw guards today to get them to the right spot.
The overcurl there wasn't too bad. It is guarding their rock in the back 8. I think they would have preferred that on the center line, but Jamie's still going to deal with it. So just a single peel here. Trying to make this curl.
I think he's got a taste.
He does.
Just enough.
Yeah. Never in doubt.
Reminder, we'll be back on the air at 6 p.m. Mountain. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. Game between Ontario and the Yukon. That's Ontario's team Mike McLean from Ottawa. Team Yukon's Terry Miller from Whitehorse. That's at 6 p.m. We're as close to it as we can get it, as there will be an opening ceremony after this draw. So they'll have to recondition the ice and get it ready for practice. But as close to 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern as we can get it. Then for the next 3 days, there will be draws here on Curling Canada's YouTube channel. And all these times are Mountain, 12:30, 4, and 7:30. 12:30 p.m., 4 p.m., 7:30, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, right here on Curling Canada's YouTube channel. And that'll be the end of the pool play, as these 14 teams that are here are separated into 2 pools of 7. And from there, the top 4 teams in each pool will move to the championship pool. And that championship pool will begin action on Thursday here in Canmore.
So it looked like Quebec tried to draw in behind the corner guard to sit 2 that way. But a little bit deep and over-curled, and it's actually out of the ring. So Jamie Cooey now has a chance to hit, roll out just a little bit, and sit 2 with the hammer.
Sitting 3, the territories. And Scott, you know, we talked about how the territories has managed these ice conditions. When you hear them saying yes, no, and switching the sweeper, you know they're pretty all over the broom.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that rock right from release was made. They were just managing it with no panic and really just trying to make the perfect roll. Marie France trying to make a hit and roll herself. And again, this is over-curled. She was trying to roll the other way.
Okay.
And we do have our first final score to report, Scott. It is Team Nova Scotia's Craig Burgess from Truro recording a 13-2 win over Team Nunavut. That is Team Peter Van Streen from Iqaluit. 13-2 the final in that game. We can tell you Northern Ontario has added a single point, and they are now up 10-5 playing the 7th end over Alberta. In our game, it is a 4-3 lead for Team Northwest Territories, skipped by Jamie Cooey. They have Hammer, and they are sitting 2 here in this 7th end.
Just trying to draw open to the wings, sit 3. Trying to make it as difficult as possible for Jean-Michel to make 2 doubles in this end, which is what he'll have to do. Second shot, just behind the tee line.
Why?
C'est le roulé devant.
Why?
It would be a pretty thin double where they put it, so I think they're looking at the hit and roll on top.
Ben, c'est parce que tu jouerais freeze ici.
Ouais.
Mais tu sais, moindrement que t'es là, c'est sûr, il sort avec, puis là, on n'a pas plus d'autres choses.
Non, je pense qu'il faut frapper là ou là.
Et tandis que là, si on roule là, puis là, il blasse, on a sorti elle, puis...
Puis à l'heure, contrôle, parce que ça, c'était pas une bonne pièce. Comme ça.
Oui, là, tu joues quoi? Tu joues contre...
Ouais.
C'est bon. Let's go!
So it does look like they've decided with quiet wait, hit and roll. That remember 2 ends ago, they threw 2 hits in this spot and both overcurled. We'll see if they figured that out.
In this whole game, Scott, I mean, Team Quebec has been in chase mode the entire game, and yet they're only down by 1.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really one key shot away from taking control back. That shot might have to be this one, but they're certainly not out of this. Trying to make it curl this time. They could switch to the thin double, which I think they've done.
Well, they called the audible and it worked out okay.
Yeah.
See them laughing about it to Ian and Annie as they come down the ice. That wasn't the call, but it worked out okay.
Yeah. I think when a game's going this way for Quebec and you're on the wrong side of the inch, you'll take whatever you can get when you get it. So
Like that normal again, though?
Plan B worked out in their favor. But Jamie Cooey still controls the end. A nose hit or any roll away will be good.
And Scott, you do get the award, the first use of wrong side of the inch at the Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. Won't be the last use of it, but there's always an award for the first time.
All right.
Well done.
Thank you. Jamie, as we were saying earlier, pretty fast player. Even in the hack, doesn't take a lot of time. Sounds like this is a little quieter than called for, and it's curling already.
I don't know. The worst 4 words in curling, hard for a piece.
And they don't get the piece. This end really turned around there. The audible double by Quebec, followed by the miss from the Territories, and now all of a sudden, Jean-Michel's got his few options. He could guard, he could draw a second shot. It looks like he's decided on drawing second shot behind the corner. He doesn't want to leave Cooey at double for 2, so getting this buried is important.
Non, tant qu'on va être caché, on a besoin d'être full 12. 4, encore bon, ça, là?
By calling this draw behind the corner, he's trying to force Jamie Cooey to 1. Looks like he's not thinking steal this late in the end.
But that would be a win. That would be a win.
Absolutely.
2 down coming home with is not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination.
Lots of room. Line's good. Whoa!
La ligne est belle! Faut être full 12!
Got to get it there, though.
You have to get it there. Trying to make it curl as well and just drag it as far as they can. They need about full 12.
Great scrub by Ian and Annie. And the desired outcome is made there, and it will be Jamie Cooey having to hit for a single.
Good job.
What a perfect spot for that rock. Second shot, absolutely no double, given that it's corner frozen and behind the guard. And now Jamie's got to block out that last shot. That's the same path, same shot that he just flashed. Nose hit for one. Trying to make this one curl. And have to stay.
Should be okay.
Good.
Yep, right on the nose for one.
Good.
A 2-point lead heading to 8.
And we've got a game.
Yeah.
Quebec with the hammer. As noted, chase mode this entire game, but one miss and one make by Jean-Michel Menard really makes this 8th end awfully intriguing.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how Jamie decides to play it. If he plays it defensively, or if he stays on the offense, puts a little bit of pressure on Jean-Michel.
We mentioned it before, and we'll mention it again. Time will not be a factor. Both these teams over 9 minutes left to play this 8th end. 9 minutes of thinking time. You could write a Shakespeare play in that time, in curling parlance.
Given that we were about half an hour late starting, I think they're just trying to get the event back on track. So doing their part.
Team players, you like to see that.
Yeah. So the call here was in the rings with their first. With a 2-point lead, that's absolutely the right decision. They'll probably put a second one in as well, regardless of where Team Quebec goes with theirs.
Really good, Megan.
Fighting top 4, it's perfect position, splitting the center line. Jean-Michel's going to throw the corner guard.
His wife, Annie LeMay, had some struggles in the first 4 ends. Draw weight, maybe a rock that was a little slower, but she certainly has made adjustments. And 2 ends ago, she was asked to play 2 corners, very similar to this setup, and made them both.
Yep.
N'importe où, mais faudrait être à l'aise. Le curly, s'il te plaît.
So tight corner guard there. Jamie's going to throw the center guard.
He's going to have a few feet left, too.
Could come in with this, but that would give Jean-Michel an opportunity to freeze or tap and move things around later in the end. So
thought we might see one of those mixed doubles corner guard ticks too.
Tick it into the rings.
3 on its own. 3.
Called and made.
Yeah. Might have overcurled a touch. It's opened up the rock on
picky.
It's opened up the rock on the corner guard side. So if he freezes and then hits and rolls, everything's going over towards the corner.
Fair enough. Will be a corner guard call, looks like here for Annie LeMay.
Bit of a new position for Annie. She played second Ray Frost for a number of years, and I believe third one of those years. So always adjusting to a new position is tough, but at this level, really no problem.
That's a little bit of a miss there, I think. Grouping them that close together. We do have another final, Scott. Northern Ontario's Trevor Bonneau steals one in the 7th end. And it is fist bumps And it is an 11-5 win for the 2017 Canadian Mixed Champion from Thunder Bay over Team McAlpine from Edmonton. So 11-5, Northern Ontario beats Alberta.
That steal of 5 in the fourth end was really the difference.
Those get in the way.
Yeah.
We don't have to go. We're bumping.
Okay, so Jamie Cooey coming in, just freezing the one that they threw with their first rock at the end. It's really designed to make Quebec use another or an extra rock before they can be in a scoring position. Tap to back 8 is the call here from Jean-Michel Menard. Stay frozen right on top of the red.
Ian below.
Called sweeping right away for line. We know once these rocks go,
it's tough to pull them back.
Yeah.
Tough to put the horse back in the barn, so to speak.
Looks like they've done a pretty good job here,
Nice.
though. So the line looks good. I'm not sure it's got the weight to tap it all the way to back 8, but that's a very good result. The angles are pretty favorable for Quebec. They can hit that blue, get rid of both reds. Jamie recognizes that. Either has to change the angles or get another one in there.
Can't quite see all of it, I don't think, no?
He could run his center guard into the one in the top 8. Get rid of it that way. That would be coming in at the right angle.
It's just top 8.
Working this hard. Will they get by the center guard? I think it's crashing.
Tight and light. So a lot of rocks in play, which is what Quebec wanted here.
Jean-Michel looking back at the clock and realizing I could take 5 minutes and would still be in good shape. But he will call Marie-France down for a strategy discussion. We'll listen in. They will call a timeout. A couple options here, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. That, even though the territories missed on that last freeze, they left their rock in a pretty good spot, guarding their 2-shot rocks. Jean-Michel would love to get at those. If he could get them out, then he could use those corners. But if not, get another one frozen on top of his blue. But he can't because of that center guard. So he's trying to figure out which red guard to come off of, or to move into the house and change the angles of what's there. So he was originally looking at kind of coming through in between the reds and rolling in behind the corner. Then they called the timeout. So I'm not sure what they've decided on here. Yeah, exactly what they looked at in the first place. He said hack weight. Just catch a thin piece of that guard, move the guard out of play a little bit, and roll their shooter in behind the corners. They really want to take advantage of the corners that they threw out there. Calling another audible here. Drive it into the pile. Pretty good result.
Cheeky.
So they're sitting third shot.
Jamie will call a timeout. Bring the gang down to the house and have a chat about their options.
They'd love to get rid of blues, but the only way to really do that is to run the blue guard into the blue rock, and the potential to jam or double jam is too high, I think.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
So they could draw another one into the top 4. Looking at the out turn for a right-hander into the forefoot. We also briefly looked at the in turn, but that's a tighter port.
That's certainly a problem. 3 raisable blue rocks up there, too.
Yeah. And the one that Team Quebec just threw, that's sitting just short of the rings, if you could run that in and make the double, it's for 2 and the tie. The old adage that the best guard is second shot. Here it might be third shot, but another one in there, I think, is the prudent play by the Territories. So a game that was played at warp speed for 7 ends is really slowed down here in the 8th with a lot of thinking and a lot of rocks in play, which has been fun to watch.
I don't mind a hair more. I think we can finish it.
I think they decided on a guard.
Okay, yeah, then Ajay.
Guarding the blue, I think.
Yep, I think
they just
so.
don't want that raise in play for Quebec.
Yeah, it's almost a nose double. So it is probably Jean-Michel's easiest shot to tie this game if it's still available for him later. So they're going to take that away with a high guard.
Still plenty of rocks to come. This is just the first third rock for Team Northwest Territories. I can't tell you how hard a shot that was.
I was just going to say, the Territories have figured out this ice. They figured it out pretty early in this game, and it's been impressive.
Being able to put it in a spot and guard it like that, considering how much we've seen 7, almost 8 feet of curl at times, just really well managed. But that's what you'd expect from a veteran like Jamie Cooey and a team that has plenty of championship experience.
C'est à partir de tout à l'heure, ça veut dire qu'il y avait un garde.
Oui, je pensais juste à côté. Moi, je pense aussi qu'on est capable.
So it looked like he signaled to throw one short of the rings that he could maybe run in later. I think the problem with that is that Jamie will probably just do exactly what he just did and guard that one as well. So they may want this in the rings, and that might be what they called. But
I almost thought they were talking coming right into the forefoot, but
that would make more sense.
Marie-France LaRouche, her first stone of this 8th end. Team Quebec trailing by 2 with last rock.
Again, another Team Quebec rock that's curling early.
Watch this one skate sideways. If it has the right weight, it maybe overcooked it a bit, Scott.
Stop for second shot, though. They're second and fourth, which does make Quebec's job a little bit easier. Now they just have to get rid of the shot rock. They don't have to make a run back double. So Jamie's going to come in right on top of the shot rock, sit 1-2 again.
Is top 12 bad?
I'm certain this end is more complicated than Jamie wanted it to be.
You could count on that. Margot Fleming now with her last rock of this 8th end. Essentially trying the same shot that Marie-France LaRouche was attempting.
She's trying to freeze her own, put it right beside hers. She's got the advantage of being able to come back to Marie-France's rock.
What a dandy.
I think Jean-Michel may need to throw the double run back here.
Good call, Scott. That looks like it's exactly what they're going to call. If nothing else, a chance to clear out that front as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and if they get both of these guards, Jamie's going to have to make a really good one, or that double is very easy to make.
Yep.
But right on the nose will be close.
Yes! Whoa!
Just going to overcurl a bit. Well.
Oh.
All right, nice.
That's pretty good. Opened it up a bit. They are 3rd and 5th. From this angle, at least.
There was a lot happening, and there were a lot to unwrap on that lot shot, but
yeah, 3rd and 5th. The problem for Quebec is now that the double might jam on their rock that's third shot, which they're going to need to bring into play.
Then don't they just blast that and that goes up?
Jamie City 1-2. He could just throw a guard.
Yeah.
But Jean-Michel may be able to come off the rock that's 4th shot.
Yeah. How much think if you want to get here? How much
I know I have the telestrator available to me, but I haven't used it yet, so I don't want to mess with everyone's viewing pleasure by trying it here now. Maybe in tonight's draw. There could be a bit of an around the horn triple available to Menard.
oh, I like the way you think. Tick, tick, bang.
Yep. I still think it would jam on the back one, but it might be all he has, so we'll see.
You wouldn't have to move it far, though.
Nope.
Like,
no, if he could clear
to get 2.
Yeah, if he could clear by his back one, he would only have to move it up 8 inches.
Jamie Cooey, his first stone of the 8th end. It is a 5-3 lead for Team Northwest Territories over Team Quebec. Team Quebec with last stone.
He's coming right in. Maybe trying to bump right to the button.
Yes, hard. Keep going.
So sitting 3. Jean-Michel may have to run that long center guard in again because it is in the way of him getting out Jamie's rock that he just threw. Any sort of in-turn draw through the port to top button, Jamie has options for a 1-foot run back to get that out. So I think he's going to have to deal with these reds now in some fashion.
Parce que la comprend jamais. Ça de même, ça se fait pas.
France is looking at the around the horn, but the problem now is that the shot rock doesn't go anywhere.
C'est ça, pas mince, pas pour rester là, mais pour remonter.
We might see it, Al. They're talking about.
I was wondering if this would ever be lined up. I'm not sure that, because the shot rock doesn't go anywhere even if you run in those.
It probably leaves the territory sitting 1 though, if you make that one. think they run that long blue. They probably also leave the territory sitting 1, but I think it's the best result.
Tu veux dire avec le raise?
Are they looking at running the red in?
They are. They're looking at everything right now.
Everything's on the table officially.
They look back at the clock, even though they had 9 minutes of time and 2 timeouts. This has been a long end. It's a pretty full house down there in the stands.
Opening ceremony will be starting pretty quick. There you see the time clock. A lot of teams start their 10th end or 8th end with that much time.
We're on skip rocks, and both teams have still have 1 more timeout.
OK. Peut-être là. Une demi? As-tu là une demi?
Oui.
Une demi.
Oui, une demi.
Celle-là s'en va là, ça sort.
Michelle seems to really be looking at angling in the blue corner. He's got to move a lot of granite, so I think this one is going to be it's going to be coming down the sheet pretty good. But if he can plant it on the one Jamie just threw, he could be sitting 2nd and 3rd at the end of this, which
that would be a win.
Yes.
And it's going to be fun to watch.
It is.
That's always what I'm in for. Reminder, we'll be back on the air at 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern, or as close to it as possible. Team Ontario, Team Yukon, here at the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship at the Canmore Golf and Curling Club. Jean-Michel Menard about to throw his first stone of this 8th end, trailing by 2 with last rock.
He shot rock. He got all.
I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either. I thought that Jamie's the last rock that Jamie threw would stay there in the 4-foot, but he hit it thin enough. You can see it here on the replay. It went over the top.
And he had that rotation in his favor as well.
Yep.
Just the spin action and good lively stones. Now the question is, can Jamie, with his last stone, get at that shot rock?
I think with how high that guard is, he certainly can. Jean-Michel was inches away from actually sitting 2. That's how good the result was of that angle run.
So you just want to bump it?
So I think he probably is throwing about back line here, just through. Get rid of that shot rock right now, and then Jean-Michel will have a really difficult time.
They certainly know this path, Scott, because there has been a number of throws down this path, this 8th end.
Yep.
Getting it to move will not be an issue.
No, we saw that with, 3 draws in a row to the side of the button. It will finish here.
Okay, clean. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Close, yeah, whoa, whoa! Whoa, just clean.
Asking for clean. They seem to like it.
Hard pull. Hard pull. Hard. You got to get it center. Hard. Hard pull. Hard, hard, hard.
Great scrub. Cole Parsons. Very, very nice.
So it leaves Jamie Cooey sitting 4 for sure. This is going to have to be... He's going to throw it.
He's got it all lined up, Jean-Michel. Based on what we just saw, though, I'm not ruling anything out.
3/4 high side. It's probably his best bet, but I think he's going to miss the one that's at Marie France's feet. And currently sitting 2nd shot.
Mais de toute façon, puisqu'elle vient de rechercher elle.
Je reste même pas dans le rond. Elle compte.
he might be better to hit it thin and try and get the shot rock with his shooter off of that one that they're looking at now.
But I agree with you. I think it's the red stone that's covering the word golf, the G in golf. That's going to be the tough one to move.
Yep.
No.
Timeout is called by Quebec.
Okay. They've decided they're going to throw it hard. See what happens. But I think about 3/4 high. Should be able to get 3 for sure.
And I'm just going to put it out there. If he gets 2 out of this would be one of the top 2 or 3 greatest shots in curling history.
Yes.
Whoa! Yep!
Yep, yep.
Yep! Whoa! Whoa!
Whoa, whoa.
Hit it where they want, I think. 2, that one. I think that's about as good as they could have done.
Yep. So will be a steal of 3 for the Northwest Territories, and that will finish off an 8-3 win for Jamie Cooey and the team from Yellowknife to complete our first draw of action at the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship here in Canmore. A reminder, we'll be back on the air tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and will be our pleasure to bring you that game tonight. So for color commentator Scott Moncourt, I am Al Cameron saying good afternoon from Canmore.